Hi guys, and welcome to this video on the new moon in Leo that happens on the 28th of July 2022. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. The chart you see next to me here, that's a snapshot of the sky at the moment this new moon in Leo is going to take place. I'm going to analyze the chart to see what energy the planets create amongst themselves and how you can then use that to your advantage. So this new moon in Leo happens at 6:54 in the evening, and that's based on Europe time. So if you're in a different time zone, just take that into account, but again, don't get too hung up on the timings. A new moon and a full moon, that's a gradual 3-day event as far as I'm concerned. So you'll be able to feel this energy over the 27th, 28th, and 29th of July. And a new moon is when the moon goes pitch black, the sun and the moon, they conjunct. And it's when the moon kind of goes within, turns the lights off, and it says, okay, quiet please, it's time to recharge my batteries. I want to make plans for the next 28-day cycle. This is the calm before the storm. This is my personal moment to just kind of relax a little bit, gather myself, get my bearings, and say, what am I going to focus on in the next month-ish? What's important to me? What do I want to pursue? What do I want to avoid? What is interesting to me and what isn't? And this new moon is in Leo, and Leo is a sign that's very much associated with the summer, right? The astrology chart and the signs of the zodiac are based on the northern hemisphere and the seasons. So Leo is August, it's warm, the flowers are out, you can play outside and swim and have fun and enjoy, and life is easy. It's you don't have to, if you want to eat something, you don't have to go to the storage where in the middle of winter. You can just pluck an apple from the tree. It's this time of play and a lack of worry and going on holiday and enjoying the present moment and all of those things. So in astrology, Leo is very much to do with your inner child and making that happy, and the capacity to be happy and to listen to your inner child. Then also to put yourself in the limelight somehow, either as a performer, someone who entertains other people, or as someone who leads, who is very charismatic and says, this is what's important, you guys listen to me and then follow me. So we've got the sun and the moon at 5 degrees in Leo. 5 in numerology is about freedom. So one, I think this is an opportunity to enjoy your freedom and to enjoy the good things that you've got in your life. But then also with this new moon, pulling all this Leo energy in order to charge up its batteries to do the next 28 days. It's very much about making plans in your life that put you in a position of leadership or independence or freedom, where you can do things either in your working life or for yourself or in your relationships, where you're really seen and seeing yourself as an authority figure, saying, this is who I am, this is where I stand firmly, and I want other people in some ways to almost recognize that these are the kind of values and beliefs I represent, this is the kind of life I want to live, and that if you want to be with me, if you want to get near to me, you're going to have to somehow get with the program. It's what I'm getting about this is like there's a sense of authority saying that I know what I want my life to be, and if you want to be a part of that, then you certainly can't chip away at me all the time, or you can't be a super negative influence in my life. Respect my authority, respect the growth I've achieved and where I've got to in my life, and if you want to be a part of that, then you're very welcome and we can have a good time together. But be a friend, be a supporter, be a positive influence in my life. There isn't much patience and tolerance for someone who tries to take from that. So it's interesting because that reminds me of the Emperor in the Tarot. The Emperor is the 4th card in the major arcana, and it's this king, emperor, who's sitting on a stone throne, and he's surrounded by all these symbols for Aries. Leo is a fire sign, Aries is also a fire sign, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac that's very much about overcoming obstacles by standing in your power and being rigid, saying this is what's important and this is what I'm going to focus on. One thing that where I'm going to have a breakthrough. So it's very focused in terms of I want to get things done. And I get this sense of steely authority and conviction in yourself that you deserve to have a good life, you deserve to enjoy yourself, and that you have the power to arrange your circumstances so that you're letting positive things in and you're filtering out the bad. So it's a natural understanding, and it's this natural authority blossoming within you and saying, I'm not going to, one, work against myself. I deserve good things. I'm going to embrace that. And certainly I'm not going to accept and tolerate that in other people who may disagree that I should be down here and they should be up here. So there's a little bit of conflict kind of inherent in that, but you're very much on your own team. And if you are in conflict, then you certainly, even before anything happens, you've decided that you're going to win, not the other person. Leo is competitive. It is the Leo, the Leo leader. And to get to a position of leadership, sometimes there needs to be some competition and elbowing other people out of the way to say, well, actually, I'm the boss and you're not. So it can be kind of tough. Mercury is next to this new moon. So Mercury is the communication planet. And that's in Leo. So the communication planet in this loud, fiery sign of Leo, it wants to get its own point across. It wants to shine. It wants to sing. It wants to dance, perform, to entertain other people. But it also wants to exercise some sort of control to say, this is the right opinion. I'm the leader. You listen to me, not the other way around. It's at 18 degrees. 1 and 8 is 9. 9 in numerology is spirituality and completion. And that's interesting because I think it's not just about being a big mouth and saying, look at me, I'm up on stage. It's about feeling this natural strength, and it's delivered by your connection with your higher self. It's almost like someone who's been afraid their whole life, who's got social anxiety, who's got depression or something. It's almost like that, as an example, that a person who's suffered with those things being given something that's so extreme that says, here is a ton of spiritual fire, spiritual leadership, power that says you are where it's at. It's really extreme in saying you're the boss, you're the spiritual leader. And it's so extreme that it's able to allow people to have a breakthrough, particularly when it comes to their own stuff. So things within that are difficult, that you can't seem to manage or master, like a lack of confidence, addiction, lack of self-belief, anything like that, you'll be very surprised during this new moon that it's almost like you've plugged yourself into an outlet in the wall, and it's like, oh, I'm like buzzing here, and all these things which have held me back in the past, it's almost like now I'm experiencing the opposite, and I've become the aggressor, the maniac, the person who's way too much. And sometimes you need that extreme to have a breakthrough, and then you can balance things out and sort them out on the other side. But again, it's that Aries kind of emperor vibe that I'm getting, that you're being given so much fire energy and so much confidence, and almost like, what's the word? Like gall? Like, I think, like spunk. I think they use that in some country. Excessive confidence. You have such excessive confidence that you're able to jump over your own shadow. That's what I mean. So Mercury in Leo at 18 degrees is that spiritual strength, but also 1 and 8 is 9, and 9 in the Tower is the Hermit. And the Hermit is someone who says, do you know what? I'm the light in my own life. I'm going to use this thing I've been given, i.e. myself, to go out into the world in order to try and understand it. So it's like you've been given confidence in yourself, and if you believe in yourself, the world and your life and your experience is going to make sense. So it's not just about being mouthy and like being too much. It's believing that even though things don't quite make sense to you right now, if you continue to invest in yourself, you are going to get stronger, life will get better, and you have this whole amazing future ahead of you simply because you are investing in yourself. So by walking the walk, doing the work, life is going to make more sense. I'm going to continue to make progress. I will improve. Everything will get better. And it's this extreme optimism which becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The fact that the communication planet is on top of this new moon means that your identity, your heart, your head, they're all about communication, connecting, and doing something that's quite exceptional. So whether you want to connect with your higher self, and that's been difficult, and you need a breakthrough, try that today. You will have the breakthrough. If you've been trying to get into a position, if you want to be recognized by the people around you for a particular talent, then perform that talent on this day so that they can actually see it and give you a round of applause. It's really about realizing this ambition that's been kind of smoldering within you and letting it light up. Okay, what's interesting then is that we have the new moon in Leo. It opposes Saturn in Aquarius on the other side of the chart. So it's 180 degrees away. And Saturn is structure and security. It's the rules. It's like a foundation that's unshakable. And Aquarius is the sign of the humanitarian and being of service and being the teacher. At 23 degrees, that's 5, freedom. And it's kind of like, if you want to be this amazing person that you've always dreamt of, you've got to educate yourself and you've got to have a community around you that supports you and validates you. And because it's in opposition, the Sun and Moon and Mercury are going, yeah, thanks for sharing that, but no thanks. I don't need to be educated. I don't need to have a bunch of people supporting me. In fact, I find it annoying that you're telling me I can only be free is if you give me permission. So it makes you rebellious. Anything that you feel is overbearing or that tries to control you, you're going to see as the other. You're going to feel justified in attacking that. And first of all, you'll be irritated by it. It's like, if I want to be a life coach, I can be, thank you very much. I don't need to take your course. I don't need to have a religious background. I have certain insights that I want to share, and any obstacles, just as an example, right? Any obstacles you put in my way, not only am I going to ignore those, I'm going to be irritated by them and attack them. So the main gift of this is that you can let your light shine and that you can make huge progress and bust through obstacles and tap into your own confidence. Also, the irritation versus institutions and things, it's a good reminder that you really are an independent unit. You can operate on your own. But if you go into that too much and you say, oh, these people try to tell me what to do, I'm now going to ruin them for annoying me. Then you're wasting your energy and you're wasting your time by creating an enemy, by creating a target and pouring all your energy into that and their downfall, and you forget about your own mission. So anything that kind of makes you feel, oh, I can feel a fight coming on here, use that as a prompt that doing your own thing and pursuing it is the way forward, and a reminder that you are free and you can do as you please. But when you find yourself engaging in a negative way, particularly to win, unless there's a thing at the end of it, like who is going to be picked as the leader of this group, right? If it's just nonsense conflict with no outcome at the end of it, don't go there. It's a distraction technique. It's a way of wasting this energy. What you'll notice then as well is if you tilt your head a little bit, we've got the opposition between the Sun and the Moon and Mercury to Saturn. But that new moon, it creates two squares. So the first square goes to the South Node in Scorpio. Then that forms a square with Saturn in Aquarius. Another square with the North Node and Mars in Taurus. And then a square back to the new moon in Leo. That's called a grand cross. And a grand cross is 4 squares that connect to create an area of real friction. So it gives you a lot of energy, but sometimes it's then difficult to pick what you're going to focus on. So again, it's another potential distraction. In this case, it's, do I put myself in the limelight and overcome my own obstacles? Or do I try and go within and try and understand myself better? Do I align myself with institutions and say, oh, I don't know everything, I need to learn, I need to educate myself, I need to zip it and listen instead of speak? Or do I try and change my own circumstances and my physical environment, my work, my finances, where I live, how I live, my physical appearance? So it's, do I shine? Do I go inward and try and understand? Do I listen to others, or do I focus on the practical physical world? And the message I'm getting is because Mercury is at 18 degrees, you already understand yourself. That's working hand in hand, and it's the understanding of yourself that actually does allow you to shine. That then, in turn, will allow you to change your practical circumstances if you accept your position of leadership, because other people will recognize that, and it will create different outcomes. And then you're positioning yourself as an institution, as the leader that other people listen to, instead of you being the student attending some sort of school or university or college where you're sitting in the back and listening and being, I don't know, this is a bit extreme, but indoctrinated. So use your energy to say, I understand that right now I do have something valuable to share with the world. I'm going to find a way of doing that publicly, or where I am in a position of leadership, or I am speaking as one voice and I'm stepping into my own authority with that. That then will have a practical impact on your circumstances for the better, and it will reposition you as someone who is an authority in a particular field. So the key thing with this Grand Cross is to, I think at the beginning of this new moon, to say, what am I an expert in? What do I do on a day-to-day basis that I enjoy doing, that I feel I'm genuinely good at? Without questioning it, like in my bones, I know that I do this every day. I know I have an affinity for it. I know I'm good at it. Like for instance, what do you do in your spare time just for fun that you've done for a long time? If you've done needlepoint and you've created these amazing like embroidered things, then you have a talent for that and you've got the evidence to show for it. So by recognizing that most people have something like that in their life, and then saying, okay, this is where I shine, let me actually do it, let me find a way to shine publicly, that will then create changes in your practical life and position you as a leader in your field, a new authority figure. Yeah. I'm just thinking as I'm saying that, I don't know. I don't want to get political, but I don't really have any role models right now in terms of the people who are leaders. Like politically, no, there's no one I look up to. Like the richest men in the world, like the Musks and Bezoses and stuff, like really the best use of your money is to like go on some sort of like road trip to the moon or Mars or wherever they're going. You couldn't use that money to pay your own employees more? Like, I just don't, I don't want to get into all of that, but I just don't have any role models. Like comedy-wise, I've always liked comedy because it's taken me out of my, but even comedy-wise, I don't see there any like shining lights at the moment. Basically, my point is that we need more authority figures. We need more people to take that risk and to say, I am putting myself out there. I know what I'm doing. So whether it is embroidery or comedy, or you're the next political leader or entrepreneur or scientist or humanitarian or whatever, what I'm saying is this new moon encourages people who have something valuable to offer to put themselves out there. And I, as an outsider, feel like it's time that we had some new leaders. And my opinion doesn't matter, but I'm sure I'm not the only one who isn't particularly impressed right now. I'm not. Yeah. I'm trying to think of people I really admire and look up to and think, oh my God, amazing. And I'm drawing a blank. Maybe that's just because I'm miserable or whatever, but no one's blown me away recently. Okay. So you can see that this Grand Cross then, it's got that opposition between the new moon in Leo and Saturn. And I'm not miserable, by the way. That was I misspoke there. I wouldn't call myself a miserable person. Anyway, and then we've got the other opposition within this Grand Cross, with Mars in the North Node in Taurus and that South Node in Scorpio. So do I control my emotions or do I control the physical world? And what I said earlier is like, you don't control the emotions because you're already being given emotionally what you need. You have the understanding, so there's no need to control. And then simply use the emotional understanding to put yourself in the limelight. And then you don't need to control the physical world either, because the physical world will meet you halfway and certain opportunities will be given to you. So you don't need to control anything, emotionally or physically. Yup. Okay, let's see what else. We've got the two squares. Then we've got a trine between the new moon. I'm counting Mercury as part of this new moon. Technically, most astrologers use an orb of 10 degrees to say something is conjunct, right? So it's within 10 degrees away from the thing. We've got the new moon at 5 degrees. And Mercury here is outside of that. It's at 18 degrees. So it's 13 degrees away. So technically, you would say it's not conjunct. I'm saying it is conjunct because it's still near enough to influence this new moon as a communicator kind of new moon in Leo. And even if Mercury is right on top of the sun, a lot of astrologers say then it's burned. It's too close to the sun. It's being frazzled. And the communication stuff is dampened because it's being boiled by the heat of the sun. So I'm saying that this is conjunct, and therefore I'm saying that Mercury and the new moon are trine, so they are 120 degrees away from Chiron at 16 degrees in Aries. And Chiron is the wounded healer. It's the asteroid that's responsible for turning things around for yourself and turning a weakness or a perceived flaw into a strength. And it's 16 degrees in Aries. 16 is 7, the mind and creativity. And Aries is the emperor, the boss. So how are you creative? Where are you a creative expert? Not what skills have you learned at university or from your mentor. What's a natural talent that's always existed in you that you haven't learned, but where you're self-taught basically. And that's what's going to make you a leader. It's so interesting, because most of us assume if I want to be a luminary in some sort of a field, I'm going to have to educate myself in that field and learn how to do it. But this is saying that you were born with certain talents that you're good at without an education and that you can use to shine and thrive. It doesn't mean that no education is involved, but it means that you naturally have an affinity for it. Like some people are good runners, right? They still have to learn how to run like 100 meters or the hurdles or something. But once they know how to do that, then they use that talent and they go to the Olympics and they win. Okay. So you've got some sort of talent as well, that if you hone that talent a little bit, it will put you in this position of the leader, of the luminary. And that's what this new moon is all about. So what field do you excel in? Where are you a star in life? And that's interesting because it says everyone can be a star in a particular field. And this new moon is saying that everyone has a God-given gift that they can use to thrive and excel on this planet. And I totally agree with that. The new moon in Leo then also trines Jupiter at 8 degrees in Aries. So what's not lacking is the confidence to put yourself out there. Like anytime you use something like this and you decide, okay, I'm going to make it public, there's going to be a fear that, I'm going to be ridiculed, or what if I fail? Or what if this whole thing goes belly up? And then this thing that I've enjoyed for myself privately, because of this failure, what if it's then taken away from me and it's ruined for me and I can't enjoy it privately anymore because I tried to make it public and it didn't work and the whole thing's a disaster. Normal fears, right? Jupiter, the lucky planet at 8, strength and power in Aries, says if you take this risk today, not only are you going to be rewarded for it, but you have the strength and the kind of determination to make it work, even if you do run into challenges. It's meant to be used right now. Okay, what else? So we've got the opposition, the Grand Cross, I've mentioned that. Do you see the big blue rectangle? It's kind of a mystic rectangle, which is 2 sextiles and 2 trines combining to create this blue rectangle, but it's squished and one of the sides up here doesn't close. So technically it's not a mystic rectangle, but I'm always kind of generous when I see these aspect patterns, because just because it's not 100% straight, I still see it as counting. So we've got this mystic rectangle connecting the South Node in Scorpio with Venus and the Black Moon Lilith in Cancer, North Node and Mars and Taurus in and Uranus in Taurus, and then the rising in Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn. So it connects earthy stuff with watery stuff. They're both feminine elements. And the big talent of the water is that you're very sensitive and that you can see beyond your own faulty ideas of yourself, and you can tap into a genuine skill and a talent. And then it's translated into earth, which means that you have the presence of mind and the practical know-how to do the legwork and to take that inner gift and that certainty that you are good at this and to build something with it in the real practical physical world. And that's going to have an impact on the way you work. So this, if you find this thing today, it can lead to a new career, and it can lead to you changing your environment by creating an extra income or creating an audience, or creating your own business, your own job for yourself, or it empowers you in a certain way so that other things in your life start to work better. So let's decide, or let's say you decide that you have an intuitive knack for working with plants and herbs and the garden and stuff. You start doing that, and just by being out in nature and working in the garden, your body is grateful because you're now out in the sun, you're doing some physical exercise. You start to feel better physically, for instance, which you hadn't planned for. So it's this kind of thing that simply by using one of your natural gifts and talents, it then has practical benefits which you may not have been able to foresee, or which you may not have even been able to plan ahead for, if that was English. Okay. Anything else? Nope. I think that's it. I came up with this term, so it's not, if you look it up in astrology books, you won't find it. But triangle of harmony, it's a trine with 2 sextiles on top of it. It connects the midheaven in Scorpio with Neptune in Pisces, and then it peaks with Pluto in Capricorn. So the big gift and the hidden thing of this day is that your intuition is right here. Like your dreams, your feelings, they're really showing you, and they're presenting to you on a silver platter, hey, this is what you're good at. This is what you can use to put yourself in the spotlight. And that's really the key ingredient to using the new moon in Leo, that something from within is revealed to you very clearly. So pay attention to what is revealed from within, and then build that into your life in some sort of structured, tangible, public, enjoyable way of working with it. And that's going to lead to new opportunities. Yep. All right, well, that's what I get for you for this new moon in Leo. I hope you have a great time. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to order your reading with me. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and the bell next to it, and share the video online. Check out the weekly horoscope where I go through each day to see what's going on. The daily tarot videos that I do on this channel as well. And I hope you have a wonderful time here during this new moon. And please do get in touch, and all the best.